Alright, so now that assembly's been covered, we're going to go a bit into practice. I know I showed how to load it before, but I figured why not again. Again, baffle, pop it in, baffle, pop it in. Your feeding roll on the left, your take-up roll on the right, and then taking your lid and just kind of wiggling it until it all fits in quite nicely. It can be a small hassle, but I guess this is the devil's bargain. If you wanted to, you could also glue these baffles in, and that would make this just a touch easier. Certainly, you know, many things you can do. It's quite a versatile little thing, relatively cheap to make. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. So, I could do with a bit of sanding over that, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Oh, nearly there. Perfect. Okay, so stick one knob in top right. Again, this isn't perfect. I didn't adequately plan for this video, unfortunately. But yeah, you want to put a knob with a foam baffle on each side. Put one there. I'm just doing this for dummy purposes. It's not actually a shooting roll, because wouldn't you believe it, this film is expired. Insofar as it's just dummy film I've been using for testing. And then that, pop it up there. And then we would place the back on. And then around all the edges, we would take thin strips of duct tape and we would just cover them up to light seal it, and that should be good enough to light seal. Yeah, so in practice, how this works, right, is you would load it up as I just have, then you would advance it one full turn. Just keep track. You could probably put a bit of whiteout on one of these little cogs, and that way you could track like which cog you're following a lot easier. Is what it is, but I've been playing around this for a bit, so I know what I'm doing. And once you've advanced it completely, you're ready to shoot. Now, when you're making homemade pinholes, like anything's going to work here. Let's not beat around the bush and say we're going for precision here. This is a pinhole camera. They are, by their very nature, very analog devices. Good enough is good enough here. I will say that when you're making them, you tend to be making the pinhole size somewhere between 0.2 and 0.3, which I have tuned this camera for. It's that was a deliberate choice here. I mean, if we want to, we can actually watch the film advance. That's a pretty cool thing to do. Let's see, boop-a-doop-doop. Turns the film quite nicely, which I'm very happy with. So I'll pop it back on this. So how you take a photo with this, right, is you would take your subject, let's say, for example, this little jeweler's loop I have here. You would aim it at the subject. This might actually need to be a little bit higher up, just for sake of demonstration. Right. Then you try and hold this. I'll get a better angle here so you can see what I'm doing. You try and hold this as steady as you can, and your exposure times are in full sunlight are looking to be about 2 seconds, 2 to 4 seconds in bright sun with sharp shadows. And then for progressing further on to, you know, indoor, you're looking at about maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And beyond that, I do not have the expertise to say. I believe that these have an F number of around 150, but I am not skilled enough in photography to say. There are a multitude of online calculators to help you out with that sort of thing. Beyond the scope of this video, but you would aim your camera at the subject, get your shutter, open your shutter, 1, 2, 3, close the shutter, and that is a photo taken. Once you've taken your photo, you would then advance it another full turn. And you're ready to take another photo. We could sit here and take photos of this jeweler's loop all day. And rotate. If you want to take photo of something else, you could pop it out and 1, 2, 3, 4, close it. That is the general process for taking a photo with this. A few things to be aware of is that it's actually kind of difficult to set upon the ground. It likes to wobble. I have a few tripod mounts in the mail, and I'll be affixing it to the tripod that I'm currently using here, just to take better shots, because you really want to avoid any sort of camera movement. Any camera movement is just going to make blurriness, and I mean, unless that's desired. I know some people do go for that look, and it can look very beautiful, but traditionally speaking, it is not a desired effect. Yeah, the other things is that occasionally, and you'll feel this as you play around, like I highly recommend just getting some dummy film and just fiddling with the knobs for it to get a feel for it before you do anything. But you'll feel that occasionally the spools unspool inside the canisters, and that's fine. You just need to remember which one is your take-up and which one is your feed. One of my friends who has one of the prototypes has actually got a bit of masking tape across here, indicating the direction of the spin and the top of the camera. I think it's a very smart idea. If I were more inclined, I could put that in the engraving, but I'm not, so I didn't. I leave that up to you, intrepid photographer. And as I said, I will be getting a photography mount, and I will be attaching it to the bottom here. So I can pop it on any tripod I wish and take beautiful 35mm pinhole photos, which can make great. I'll probably finish this off with a bit of a montage of some of the pinhole photographs I've taken. Not all with this, but just so you get an idea of the type of photographs you get out of this. It's a great thing that I think any photographer would love to, or who is interested in film photography, that is, would love to just have pop in their back pocket or in their backpack as they're traveling or going around town, and you can take some lovely pinholes with a minimum viable camera, which is quite a funny concept to think of. But everything's there. I guess this could also be an educational tool to some extent. For a photography school, if they were just trying to get the basics of photography across, because this is nothing more than basic. That's about it. I think that's pretty much everything here that is to be said about my camera. Once again, I hope you have a wonderful day. You're a lovely, special person, and I love you.